today's episode of The Unwritten Rule. Back to a two-man show. Still not the thruple. Jack is out of town, back in his homeland of Wisconsin. So you just got Payton and I today. Hope you enjoyed the solo show. Payton and our good friend Drew King on Friday. But happy Monday. We're finally going to get to the Charles Bass news, talk a little bit about that 2025 class that just continues to stack up some of the elite talent in that cycle. We got a note on Eli Drinkwitz and a preseason award. Maybe this is the only preseason award we'll ever talk about for Eli Drinkwitz. Something on the women's basketball front that's pretty notable. Then we'll jump into some quick hits, Ken Sports Shorts, Tigers in the Wild, headlines, and then maybe a joke from our good old friend Payton Haverman. But that's going to do it for our Monday slate, and the Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. It's Monday, July 15th, halfway through the month. I can't believe it. It's going by pretty fast. Feels like the 4th of July was just the other day, and I was missing the show. But Payton and I just the only two on today, but we're finally getting to the Charles Bass news, Payton. You guys did a great job jumping in on that really, really busy weekend for Mizzou recruiting not too long ago. Charles Bass joins it. It was a kind of a delayed commitment. He moved back his announcement date. Still ended up being Mizzou. I think we were all kind of thinking it would be. What was your instant takeaway just landing Charles Bass?
Yeah, this was probably the least shocking, I would say, of the group. This one felt like it had been building for a while. You see there, there were future casts galore on Charles Bass. Gabe DeArmond had put his in April and had never moved off it. So it was long expected, but to get a top 100 guy that's essentially in your backyard, East St. Louis is pretty, for all intents and purposes, as good as Missouri territory as it is Illinois. Definitely good to do. I believe it makes 5 total commitments in the Rivals top 100. So it is shaping up to, it might already be the best class in Mizzou history at this point. And they still have a few spots open. So we'll see where it all winds up, but definitely not a big surprise, but still a big win.
For sure. You kind of look at where this class was before that big recruiting weekend, before Charles Bass trickled in right after, and they were around the 28 mark at one point not too long ago, and you're looking at maybe they'll just be middle of the road, back into the SEC. They're not really moving right now, and then it just everything fell at once, and that's where you just had to be patient with where the recruitments were going with some of these prospects, and ended up all happening in the same week or same 2 weeks. We always talked about that, end of the official visit season in June, and then you start to see guys start trickling in with their decisions there in July. And there was his official visit on June 21st, one of the big recruiting weekends. And we talk about that last recruiting weekend maybe is a plus, but it seems like, there was always, a leaning for Charles Bass going to Mizzou. Looking at where the Tigers stand now, with Charles Bass commitment, they're up to 17 total commits, moved into 11th in the team recruiting ranking for Rivals. Payton, where do you kind of go from here? You say to talk about those open spots. From what you've read, from what you're seeing on Twitter, are there any other guys on your radar that you kind of like?
Obviously Mizzou has been heavily linked to guys like Fasusi or Andrew Babaloa. Fasusi announced his final 5. Mizzou is on it, and his commitment date in August. But that one is almost exclusively, everybody kind of expects him to wind up at Texas. I believe he has 4 or 5 future casts on Rivals to Texas. So certainly Matt's not one that Mizzou, I think, is factoring in too heavily. Babaloa, he got a lot of buzz to Stanford after his Stanford official visit, but it hasn't happened yet. So maybe still a bit of a dogfight. It could wind up being another Mizzou-Oklahoma battle for Babaloa.
I hope Oklahoma fans don't get too mad if it doesn't end their way on that one. But yeah, I mean, Payton, one thing I just came to my mind looking at where this class has come from, and I honestly do forget about this. Matt Zollers was the first commit in this class, and that's kind of funny to think about. They didn't get a commit until April for the class of 2025. Matt Zollers was the first one. Then you started to see more 4-stars trickle in with Jason Dowell and Dante McClellan, and then it just exploded into June and July, and the class took off from there. But those are some good guys to just keep some eyes on. But right now, I mean, do you feel kind of content with where the class is? I mean, is there a position? I know you're not always you're not recruiting on need, but you're recruiting on the best available player and who fits your system. But I mean, is there a position group that you kind of want to see another commit for?
I had never really thought like just position wise, honestly. But I mean, you do obviously Drinkwitz and them are not going to be done just yet. I think you can probably call this one a success, even if you don't get another big time recruit in this class. I don't think you get 9 4-stars or whatever it is, depending on your preference of recruiting site, and have an unsuccessful opinion of your class unless you're at a true blue blood. I always think you can never have enough defensive backs in the pipeline. I think it's such an important position of need. They've kind of, I know they like Fasusi and Babaloa are still probably big priorities for them, but they have so many offensive linemen in this class. I don't think it's necessarily a need rather than a luxury at this point. So,
sure. Looking at the recruiting rankings before we close this part, Alabama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and LSU are in front of Mizzou for the SEC teams. The usual suspects, right? It's just usual suspects plus
nothing
Oklahoma.
But blue bloods
plus Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good group. Good group of teams to be in the front. Ohio State still at the top there. LSU was at number 2 for a long time. Recently fell with some decommitments, but Penn State, Miami, some non-SEC schools, Notre Dame, Oregon, also in that top 10, right ahead of the Tigers.
Right. And you see here, I mean, 17 total commits, 11 on Rivals for the team recruiting ranking. Just a stellar run. I mean, that is 1, 2, 3, 4 4-stars in a 7-day span. So that's I think you can put that recruiting run up there with any in Mizzou history.
One thing I do find a little bit funny is that Mizzou has a lower star rating, average star rating than Tennessee, and Tennessee is 12th. They have the same total amount of commits, but Mizzou has the edge in the Rivals point ranking. So I bet there's maybe some Tennessee fans that aren't too happy about that, but it's still, I mean, great spot for the Tigers to be in, moving into the season literally next month, which is kind of crazy to say. So good spot for the Tigers right now, but kind of moving on. Staying on the football front, Eli Drinkwitz. He is on a preseason award watch list, and a little bit surprising. I never heard of this, that there were ones for coaches. And you can see right there from Power Mizzou, Gabe DeArmond, but it's for the Dodd Trophy for the Coach of the Year. Drinkwitz is on there. I'm not going to read through all the names because there is a ton, but you can guys like Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Kirby Smart. There are SEC coaches on there, and other guys from around the Power 5 level, Power 4 level now. Payton, I mean, what do you kind of see about this? Does it kind of make sense to you that there's a preseason award watch list for a coach?
I guess I don't really. There's preseason awards for everything, so why not have one for coaches? It's good to see Drinkwitz kind of get that kind of recognition, but it's just funny because like this is an award based off of results from last season. So I mean, like Drinkwitz, if they went 7-5, wouldn't be on the Dodd Trophy watch list. So just a little interesting to me. But hey, it's a preseason award. Drinkwitz is on it. We got to talk about it.
So now we can't talk about it again, right? That's Jack's philosophy.
That is the hope. You see one preseason Coach of the Year award list that Drinkwitz is on. Assume he is on a lot of them. I think it's fair for guys like Luther Burden in particular for preseason lists, which was how that rule was established. Because if you guys didn't know, Luther Burden is really good at football. He's going to be on preseason All SEC first team lists and All American lists. It's just he's going to be on every single one of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I saw one too recently, but I decided to skip it. Am I doing well? Because I think Jack even made a joke. He was like, I don't think it's going to get past Kenny. Moving on. Women's basketball front. You might know this name, but Aubrey Shaw, the younger sister of Mizzou men's basketball forward Aiden Shaw, announced her top 14 teams. It's a pretty loaded field on the women's front, and she's ranked inside the top one, or she's a 4-star according to ESPN. The women's basketball scouting grades. So top 14, Mississippi State, Duke, Arkansas, Columbia, Harvard, TCU, Kansas, Mizzou, North Carolina, Arizona, Kansas State, Kentucky, North Carolina State, and Oklahoma. A lot of Power 5 schools in there, and then some pretty good Ivy League schools in Columbia, Harvard. I mean, it'd be pretty cool if the Tigers could land Aiden Shaw's younger sister for the women's basketball team.
Yeah, and I mean, I assume she's also from the Kansas City area. Yeah, you see there, Blue Valley North is where she's going to high school. That's Kansas City area. And, obviously it'd be cool to have the brother-sister duo on the Mizzou campus, but also Aubrey Shaw, she's in Mizzou's kind of territory, and she's like you said, a 4-star, so definitely would be one to have. We have no idea what's going to happen this season with Mizzou women's basketball, no doubt. We felt like last year was a do or die for Robin Pinchton. That obviously got impacted with Desiree leaving when she did. But we'll have to see what the future holds this season. She's in the last year of her contract. So a lot of things could get messed up in the recruitment, but we'll see.
Aubrey Shaw. 6'2" guard. Her nickname is Cookie. I think that's a pretty good nickname. And but that is a good list of teams. Probably need to trim that down at some point. She might just announce it. But it would be cool to see her maybe getting do a visit, and her brother is there. I think that would be a really cool thing. I think they could probably milk that too, but they're not allowed to post her. So maybe she'll be at some games this winter, maybe in November. So keep an eye out for her. I mean, that's a pretty good list of teams. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for our Mizzou segment. We'll see you on the other side with Quick Hit. All right, Quick Hits time. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can see it right there. I got the MLB Draft happening later today when we're recording here on Sunday, so you'll already know who's going number 1. I'm going to say Travis Pizzana. Payton, you?
I don't know, man. That Weatherholt buzz is getting a little loud, so we'll see. Cleveland maybe wants to go a little under slat, but they should take, I think, Condon. I think Condon is probably the best player, but yeah. I obviously am not a scout, but that is just my opinion.
You need that in your bio. But yeah, Ken Sports Short time. If you're looking at it, yeah, we are going to talk about the MLB Draft real quick for Ken Sports Short. And not many guys probably from Missouri that are going to be drafted this year in the day 2, day 3 range. I can pretty much confidently say that no Mizzou player will be drafted on day 1 or just on day 1 in the first 2 rounds. So, but I want to look back on the 2023 draft. Payton, I mean, of the 3 of us, when Jack is here, you know the most about Mizzou baseball and probably know the most about last season. The 2023 season, that is. There were 4 Tigers selected in the MLB Draft last year. I can give you like the rounds and the positions if you'd want, or maybe even the teams, but I'll go through and I'll just start like the round, and you just try to tell me if you remember who the player was that was selected.
Okay. I know obviously there was one that got drafted. I can probably piece together. And all of these guys signed, right?
Yep. All 4 of them signed, yes.
Alrighty. Then I think...
we'll start just round 4, New York Mets pitcher.
New York Mets pitcher. Oh, shoot. I should know this. Spencer Miles was drafted the year before, so it's not him. Oh, God. I'm going to kick myself if I don't get this. Oh, shoot. I know who it is because I remember seeing it. And
his initials are AT.
AT. Oh, God, this is so bad. Why do I not know this? I see.
Hey,
like,
we'll go to the next one. Round
go
10,
ahead.
Chicago White Sox pitcher.
This is the one I don't think I'll know. I think I know the last two, but this is the one I don't think I know, to be honest with you. Is he a
Okay.
reliever or a starting pitcher?
It doesn't say it from where I'm looking. Could
Okay.
probably do a
What
deeper
hand?
dive into it. Right-handed?
Right-handed. Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah. Let's go to the next one quick.
Yeah, he's right-handed.
Okay.
Next one is 12th round, the Rays, another pitcher.
Oh, the Rays? Dude, I thought this was going to be Josh Day to the
No, that
Diamondbacks.
was 2022.
God, that was 2 years ago.
That was a good field. Spencer Miles, Torrin Montgomery, Joshua Day, Nathan Landry, and Drew Garrett.
Yeah, that's a good group. See, I know the next one. The last one is Luke Mann to the A's.
Correct. Luke Mann went to the A's in the 14th round.
And I know
Recently
the
got promoted to
Mets
high A.
guy. I know the Mets guy. Why am I not thinking of his name?
Austin.
His initials are AT.
First name is Austin.
Austin. Okay, was one of them Chandler Murphy?
Chandler Murphy was the 12th rounder to the Rays pitcher.
Okay, he was that is such a Rays pick. I mean, he was the transfer from Arizona. I do remember that. So Hank Zeisler didn't get drafted then. That's a bummer. Oh God, Austin. All right, I'm clearly if I don't have it by now, that's on me.
Okay, Austin Tresser.
Oh, Tresser, the Tress dog. Yes, of course.
And then the 10th rounder, he was
guy.
also a transfer. If you want to
From
guess.
where?
Western Carolina.
Oh yeah, he was their closer. He was super nasty.
We don't have to mention his signing bonus.
That might have been one of those. Well, you have nowhere else to go signing those bonuses. I'm
surprised it was even this high.
Shoot, what's his name? I know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't.
Zach Franklin.
Yep, Zach Franklin. He closed out games in the showcase that was down in Houston against TCU.
The Shriners Classic.
The Shriners Classic. Yep. Yeah, dang, I'm surprised I forgot all those names so quickly, but
it feels longer. Like it does feel like a long time ago.
I had a better grip on the 2022 class.
Yeah. That was a loaded one. I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't even make the SEC tournament though. So
yeah.
Oh well. Moving on.
All right. Tigers in the Wild. I've been wanting to do Cameron Misner for a while now, and I'm going to give him his flowers now. He has 4 homers on the month and 40 ABs in July at AAA for the Rays. Talking about Rays earlier, but he's batting .350 with a .480 on base percentage and a .750 slug. Get this guy to Tampa. Whoa. I mean, it's been a pretty torrid stretch for Cameron Misner. He's still a top 30 prospect, but he is on the older end. He's 26 now, but he makes like leaping grabs in the outfield. He has, you even see it on there if you're watching on YouTube. He had a home run robbery, hit a grand slam recently. Just doing it all right now, and he's left-handed. I mean, the Rays love their lefties.
I would have to wager, like, because the Rays are rumored to like want to move on for like just trade away Rosarena. I'd have to wager, like, at this point, you got to give Cameron Misner, if you have any hopes of him being a part of the future, you have to give it to him once you have an open outfield spot, right?
Exactly. That's what I would think too. I mean, he's a serviceable. It could be like a serviceable outfielder, platoon with someone. I mean, I'm not going to say he's going to be an all-star. I mean, he's 26 at AAA. He's on a little bit on the older end, but if there's a spot there, I feel like he just let him rake. I mean, he's raking right now.
Yeah, this guy has seemingly been a great prospect for like ever. So give him a shot.
Yeah, he went 35th overall in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So hasn't had that opportunity to go to the show.
Yeah, but yeah, good. That's a good Tiger in the Wild, Kenny. I know you've been sitting on Misner for like weeks.
Yeah, I have.
But moving on, we're moving on to the great Chase Daniel, who has really like kind of been all over the media sphere, like in the last year or so, and that is continuing. He announced last week that he, along with Diana Rossini, are starting a podcast called Scoop City for The Athletic. the first episode comes out the day after this episode comes out, July 16th. So yeah, him and Diana Rossini will have a podcast with The Athletic 2 times a week. More Mizzou Tigers taking over the media sphere, as it should be.
It's very nice of him to put the first episode out after ours and not have to like one up us on a Monday. But this is really cool. I mean, Chase Daniel is, I don't know, is he officially retired? I mean, if someone needed a backup quarterback, I don't think I've seen like a 14-year NFL vet. I don't know. Maybe if someone gets on the phone, we see a lot of athletes right now doing podcasts and then switching it up, becoming coaches. And I don't know. Maybe there is something there. It's a cool logo though. If you're looking on the YouTube, you can even go to his X account and see it. But The Athletic always has like something cool like this, and overall pretty cool. Diana Rossini is pretty funny too. I don't know if you ever have heard her talk on podcasts, but she does a good job.
I have heard her talk on a Bears podcast, and I remember when presented with the dilemma that some Bears fans wanted to keep Justin Fields over drafting Caleb Williams, she was flabbergasted by that notion. So, but yeah, good for Chase Daniel. He has really just been like all over. Like I said, he's just all over the media game. So, moving on.
Yeah. Jack's not here, so we'll just do his real quick. Damari Carroll is joining Kenny Atkinson's staff with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I didn't know this, but he's this past 2 seasons, he was one of the bench coaches for the Lakers and the Bucks. Does he look like slimmed down to you? I mean, when I think of like Damari Carroll, I think of like this big force in the paint.
Built dude, that can like bully his way.
I mean, good for him staying fit after an NBA career. You know, some people lose it, but he's kept it alive. But still cool to see. Maybe I think it's fair to say that Mizzou might become the assistant coach for basketball. I think that's a fair thing to say. I think it's something that's going to happen. We're going to see it with Trago Millions soon. Maybe our good friend Ben Sternberg.
Phil Pressey.
Hangs up the Phil Pressey. That's a really good one. But maybe our friend Ben Sternberger, talking about guys going from Sternberg. I don't know. I said Sternberger. Goes from media to back to the sport, like I just mentioned earlier. Maybe he does that. Maybe he puts a pause on his podcast and goes to coach somewhere. I mean, there's just so many options. I think it's just assistant coach for basketball.
You know what? Just like you can maybe make the claim that Mizzou is backup QBU, with Chase Daniel being maybe the most famous finesser, as people like to call him, as a backup quarterback ever. Drew Lock, although he may be starting sooner rather than later. I think you can probably make that similar claim in the basketball sphere. There's nothing wrong with being an assistant coach or a backup quarterback.
Exactly.
Moving on to headlines, Kenny, what is your headline?
My headline is it's SpongeBob SquarePants Day at the Marlins game on August 11th. If you're in the area, it's a 1:40 first pitch. I believe that's Eastern time. But $30 for a SpongeBob themed jersey and just ticket. I think this is a good deal. It's against the San Diego Padres. I don't think the players will be wearing these. It's not like minor league baseball where the teams will just wear some outrageous uniforms. But this is a pretty funny thing. I'm looking on the website. I didn't put the actual link to the website on there for you, Payton, but it says limited time only in all caps. So it's a big deal. SpongeBob SquarePants Day. I think it would be really funny if this game was like on NBC and they did a SpongeBob broadcast for baseball for a Marlins game, that there will be maybe 15,000 people out because it's a weekday game. And
boy, that's an ambitious number. 15,000.
I'm just trying to hype them up. Maybe the Marlins turn their season around. Maybe they get some good guys at the deadline. No, it was probably a little bit less.
Yeah, I would have to agree. This is a monstrosity, dude. I don't think I would pay $30 for this. Would you?
I think you get more than just the jersey.
I don't think it matters.
Oh, never mind. You just get the jersey.
Yeah,
but it's $30 for the ticket and the jersey. So you're getting to watch baseball. Padres, I mean, they might make a run at a wild card spot. They got some all-stars.
But look at this jersey, Kenny. Would you
looking
pay
at it.
$30 for this jersey?
I mean, if you're going to the game, might as well get the jersey.
I'm asking you about that. You got to stop. You don't skirt around this. $30, you get the jersey. Would you do it?
Payton, what are you doing on August 11th? Oh my gosh. Can we get that off the screen? Can you just go to your headline?
Yeah, moving on to my headline. It's here, folks. If you bought the deluxe edition, today is the day. EA College Sports 25 is out. What time does EA College Sports College Football 25 release? It depends on where you live. If you're on the East Coast and if you pre-ordered the deluxe edition of the game, you can start playing at 4 p.m. on Monday, July 15th. Eastern time. So for most of our listeners, it'll probably be 3 p.m. But yeah, it's here, Kenny. What are you rebuilding first, Kenny? What team are you rebuilding first?
I haven't said it publicly yet. I've said it to you and some other friends, but I think it's time to announce that I'm going to be joining the Rice Owls. If I had my Rice hat next to me right now, I'd throw that bad boy on. Been to a couple Rice football games. I think second to Mizzou. I think that is the most most games I've attended. Yeah. So I guess I got to go with the Owls. Hoot hoot.
Hoot hoot indeed, Kenny. For me personally, I haven't made a final decision yet. I'm between 4 schools. Arkansas State, very famous on this show by this point. Georgia Southern, Sam Houston State, and Nevada are my final 4. We'll see. Stay tuned.
When do you make that announcement?
We're getting close. We might make an announcement in the next couple of days. Just stay tuned.
All right. Where can the people find it? It's gonna be on your X account.
Yeah. I think you can go to Payton is no troll on X. You can find it there. I'll be letting the people know beforehand, before the rebuild begins. So
Opinions are his own. Don't forget that.
Opinions are my own. Moving on, Kenny, what else did we want to talk about with this?
Oh yeah, we got the uniforms. The one thing that did like stick out to me, and I saw it in a text, is that there's no script helmet. We had Dave Matter on with us. You know, he kind of gave us a little bit, the behind the scenes of what they want to do with helmets and designs and what people like, and they try to not poll but necessarily see what fans are wanting in their own merchandise and just what the players are wearing. And it means that it looked like the script helmet was kind of like fading away, but it was still like a really cool helmet. It somehow didn't make it in the game. I think in my opinion it should be like a DLC. I feel like that'd be really cool to have like an additional like package you could buy for all the uniforms. But if you're watching on the YouTube, you can see the uniform combinations, pretty sweet. And it's just like Madden, where you can go and do all gold if you want to do it, or black and white and black, whatever you're feeling. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I will say it doesn't necessarily show every single helmet in here, but it does not appear that Script Tiger's in the game, which is a shame. I really like that helmet. I know it was very divisive among the fan base, but I thought it was a beautiful helmet. They don't have either of the helmets behind my head either. Sailor Tiger, Power Cat there. Neither one look like they're in the game, which is not unexpected, but And also, we didn't mention this because it came out after our last episode. Luther Burden is the 11th best football player in EA Sports CFB 25. He's a 94 overall. I also believe he is the second best rated wide receiver behind Travis Hunter, which I personally don't agree with him being second there, but pretty good rating. I think that's maybe a little bit underrated, but you can't be too upset with the number 11 overall ranking.
STP, there's always something to prove. Even the Mizzou football account tweeted a photo with him and said STP after this rating was announced and the ranking was released. I like it. I think just seeing a Mizzou player inside the top 15 is crazy in its own right. But I think we should get used to that. I don't think you should start to feel, like good that there's one player. There should be more. I mean, it's a good team. They won the Cotton Bowl last year. Got to build off that. There are a lot of transfers that came in, a lot of experience. So maybe you'll see some updates throughout the season, and maybe some other Mizzou guys can sneak in there. Maybe there's another breakout of some.
I will also say Brady Cook not in the top 100. That had a lot of people upset. I do feel for Brady Cook. I think he was right on the edge. I think he's like an 88 overall. I saw so.
Good for Brady. Moving on to Jack's headline. This is kind of like not really Payton and I's corner, but it is the soccer world, and we know a lot of people were very happy that this departure happened. But Greg Berhalter was relieved of his duties as the head coach of the men's national team for soccer. Payton, I think it's safe to say, and Jack can't stop me from saying this, but I think Jack is pretty upset about this. I think he was one of the only people in the world that was a really big Greg Berhalter fan, and he was given short end of the stick, and it just didn't work out. It wasn't his fault. I mean, the players he's not the one on the field. He's not the one taking the shots. He's not the one dribbling. Yeah,
it's not his fault. I mean, it's not his fault that Christian Pulisic didn't get to shake the ref's hand. Exactly. It's not his fault that I believe it was Weah got red carded. I don't know, man. Feels like Greg Berhalter was done wrong. I think we should reinstate him.
This is what Jack would say. These aren't our opinions. We're okay with the move on. It's time for a new era of men's soccer. But this is everything Jack would have said. He's speaking through us.
No, I'm
glad we got that out there.
100%. Yeah. Yep. You can always count on us, Jack.
Payton, do you have a joke? We have no ratio, no community note. There were some good community notes out there this week. Probably some of them we don't really want to get into, things that happened this
Lord
weekend.
Knows there were ratios.
Yes, but do you have a joke for us, Payton?
I sure do. Kenny, why was the math book sad?
I don't know.
Because it had so many problems.
It's pretty good. I was thinking, I was way over my head. I was thinking like maybe he got subtracted from the library, or he wasn't divided correctly. I don't know. I couldn't.
You were overthinking that. That's for sure.
Way overthinking it. But good joke. That's a good one.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this Monday episode of The Unwritten Rule. Hopefully Jack will be back from his vacation, and we'll have a full team back. We haven't had that in a little while. We were on a good stretch there for a little bit that we had all three of us.
Yep.
But it is the summer. Not as much news going on, but we still got pumped out 30 minutes for you. But yeah, Charles Bass is a Tiger. Maybe we'll have some more recruiting news, or maybe we have to dip our toes back into the Mount Rushmores here in the next couple of weeks. But that's going to do it for today's episode of The Unwritten Rule. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on Friday.